Hi, it's Paul. I want to take a look at a real simple and effective strategy for setting up the equipment, control power, or control enable, or equipment enable, whatever you want to call it, and more importantly, the emergency stop. What to do when you hit the emergency stop and how to make it very reliable. The main thing when setting these up is you have to make them really simple, and you have to make it so that they can't get confused with everything else that the machine is doing. Let's take a look at my little machine here. I've got just a trainer panel, and I have it programmed so that when I put this switch into auto, it just cycles through all these lights. And that's the way my machine works. It's a real simple machine. Over here, you can see I've got three routines. I've got a main control, an emergency routine, and then my light display. That's my normal operation. And for my light display, I just made one timer, and then I look at the accumulated value, and based on accumulated value, I turn lights on and off. So, real simple operation. But what I'm most concerned about is how to handle the control power on and how to handle an emergency situation. Let's go look at my main control. And I did this one in ladder logic. Doesn't matter what you do it in, although jump subroutines don't work in function block, so don't use function block for your main control. But here I've got, on my first rung, I've got my Estop and my auto switch. If both of those are hot, then I do jump subroutine that takes me to my machine control. If I turn off my auto switch, I can grab it, there it is. Okay, when I turn off my auto switch, I lose this hot signal. It no longer jumps subroutine, and that main control can't work because it can't get to that routine. I'm not in an emergency, I just have my machine shut off. Now let's see what happens when I hit the E-stop. E-stop is normally hot, so when I push it, it's going to go cold. And so I'm going to lose this signal here, and I'm going to gain this signal with this examine if closed. No, examine if open. I always get those confused. I'm going to gain the signal, which will jump subroutine to my emergency routine. So let's give that a try. I'll hit the E-stop. And there my red lights are flashing back and forth. Now if I turn on my control power, I still get this signal hot, but I'm still forced into my emergency routine. My emergency routine there works no matter what. So it's a very simple system. You either send the signal to the normal operation control, or you force it into emergency routine where you take control of the machine, and that way you know for certain that none of your normal operation will get involved with controlling the machine when it's in an emergency situation. Now let's look at my emergency routine. This one I did in function block. So the first thing I'm doing up top here is I'm sending a code signal to these green and yellow lights. I'm forcing those lights to go off. No matter what state they were left in, I'm going to force them off and I'm going to hold them off. Then down here, I'm sending a hot signal to I've got two timers and they're cycling back and forth, and that gives me my flashing back and forth. Notice red lower is off the first timer, red upper is off the second timer. They each have preset of 500 or half a second. When the second one finishes, it resets the first one, and it just keeps cycling back and forth. So that gives me, and I like function block for this one because I just like the way it visually represents. I can group all my cold signals together, and I can group my hot signals together, so I know exactly what's going on with the machine. And anyone looking at my logic should be able to tell that this is what's going on. From the main control, very simple. there's only two directions it can go. Either we're in normal operation and we're in auto, so it goes into running the machine, or if we go into Estop situation, it forces to the emergency routine. And then I can put whatever I want in that emergency routine. I can send a siren or flash other lights, whatever you want to do when you're in the emergency routine. You might want to stop conveyors, and maybe some conveyors need to run until the product clears, whatever you want to do, but it should make sense. So try this approach. It's real simple, it's well organized. I could have used different types of routine. I just picked function block here, and I picked structured text for my main programming. But you can use whatever language you want, although I don't like using ladder logic too much. But okay, that's how you set up, or one way to set up a control logic and an E-stop or an emergency logic. All right, talk to you later. Bye.